Hello, Love Posse, and welcome to today's conversation. I want to begin with a warning, a loving warning. Today's conversation will be tough, not for me, but maybe tough for you. Tough if you don't want to hear it. It may trigger you, right? Tough if you're not ready for it. It may trigger you. So, be gentle with yourself. Be gentle with me. Be kind to yourself. Be kind to me. I'm doing this out of love. I see this as an issue that I must speak about again and again and again, right? Until I feel I've done all that I can do. So today's conversation is about excuses. I have in my hand one of my favorite buttons. I saw this button and I had to have it. No excuses. So I'll tell you what inspired this video, right? I was reading an article a couple of days written by a woman, and that fact is important. And she wrote an article about women and women's bad behavior, women's trickery, how some women trick men into getting them pregnant, how some women make up lies about men raping them, how some women force themselves onto men, force blowjobs onto men. And I was like, really? I am so sick and tired of people making excuses for the unloving, inappropriate, bad behavior that they engage in, and the unloving, inappropriate, unhealthy, and bad behavior that other people engage in. Women make excuses about men's bad behavior. Some women do, some mothers and wives and friends, making excuses for the bad, inappropriate, unloving behavior that some men engage in, right? And then there are some of us who make excuses for things we do, things we don't do, why we don't move forward in our lives, why we don't go after our dreams, right? Why we stopped dating, why we stopped loving, why we stopped being open, right? Why we took this job or that job, right? Always making excuses for everything, right? I'm here to tell you, stop making excuses for bad behavior, for no behavior, right? For behavior that's unloving, inappropriate, unkind, unhealthy. We all have the ability to respond. We have to learn to take responsibility for our own behavior. Because when we don't take responsibility for our own behavior, and when we don't allow other people to take responsibility for their own behavior, what happens? We start blaming. What happens? It's a form of encouragement, encouraging other people to continue with this bad behavior. We don't speak the truth, right? We don't accept responsibility for what we do in our lives. And if we don't accept responsibility for our own behavior, then of course we're not going to teach other people. We're not going to stand up and tell them that what they're engaging in, that their behavior is unkind, unloving, inappropriate, bad behavior. No woman has the ability to trick a man into getting her pregnant. Ridiculous, right? No woman has the ability to force a blowjob on a man. Ridiculous, right? No woman could wear anything, not wear anything, and that will still not be a cause for rape. We must learn to take responsibility for our own behavior and stop making excuses for our behavior and for other people's bad behavior. Right? It's just unconscious, right? We make excuses for not living life to the fullest, right? We make excuses for being where we are when we don't want to be there, right? In our lives. We make excuses. I'm black. I'm a woman. I'm poor. I don't know. I'm uneducated. I'm a man. Right? I'm a Christian. I'm a Democrat. I'm a Republican. We make excuses for what happens in our lives. We say things happen to us. No. You're a participant in your life. You're the master. You're the creator of life, the art that is your life. Right? If something is not going the way you would want it to go, the responsible thing is to ask yourself some questions about the choices and the decisions that you are making. If you're in a relationship that is not working, it's time to sit down and ask yourself some questions about the choices and the decisions that you're making. Take responsibility for your behavior. That's what we have to do. But we have to stop making all these excuses. I wanted to do this in my life. I wanted to do that. I hear that from a lot of women. I could have been this. I wanted to do this in my life. I wanted to be a dancer, but I got pregnant and I got married and I had a family and I'm a woman. And I'm not saying that we are not affected by other people's will, other people's sick behaviors of control and deceit, right? Harmful behaviors. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying stop making excuses that even though there are people out there who are so unconscious that they will direct their will, intentionally or unintentionally, to stop you, is not an excuse. You have the ability to respond. You have to learn to take responsibility for your own behavior and your own actions. No one can make you do anything or not do anything. There are countless, infinite examples of people who have overcome obstacles, challenges, other people's sick behaviors to rise up and do what they want to do in this world, to be who they want to become, to live the life that they want to live. I'm one of them, right? I could have made an excuse for my life, for mishaps. I don't like to say failures. That's why I said mishaps. I could have blamed anything on being a woman, being black and a woman, right? Growing up with a mother that had to have help from the government called welfare, right? I could have made I could have used those as excuses to not fulfill my greatest potential, but I didn't, because it was a choice. Because I learned to take responsibility for my own behavior and own actions. I realized that my life was created. I created my life based on the choices and decisions that I made. Some of those decisions were to surrender my will in this situation for the will of the divine. That's a choice. That's me taking responsibility. When we don't take responsibility for our own actions and behaviors, when we make excuses, then we blame, right? We have a reason for not, we have an excuse, reason for not doing or for doing. I had to do that because, or I didn't do that because so and so, oh, my son, he didn't rape that girl, right? She came on to him, right? She tricked him into raping her. You know, really? Stop making excuses, right? I didn't go to school and get an education because of A, B, C, and D. We live in this age, in this time, with so much technology. You don't even have to go to a formalized institution to be educated. You can be educated on the internet, right? Stop making excuses. We have to stop making excuses for our ignorance. We have to stop making excuses for our health. We have to stop making excuses for the relationships we are slaves of, for the job, the money. We're slave of consumerism. We're slave to money, right? I'm not happy in my job. Stop making an excuse. I have to stay in my job because stop making an excuse. There's so many possibilities in this world. Stop making excuses for yourself and for other people. Right? Stop making an excuse. Sometimes the lesson we have to learn is the lesson we have to learn, right? Sometimes we experience illness. Sometimes we experience lack. Sometimes things just don't go right for us. It's not always someone else who's causing it. And I'm not saying that we're causing it consciously. Sometimes it's just happening. There could be so many reasons, right? Past life, debt we owe, the way the planets are lined up, things we don't understand. But stop making excuses and use your energy into creating solutions. Use your energy into doing the kind thing, the loving thing, behaving in healthy ways. Communicating. Being open to receive. Right? Not only playing the cards you're dealt, but learning how to acquire different cards. Just stop making excuses. Learn to take responsibility for your own actions and own behavior. Do the loving thing and allow other people to take responsibility for their own actions and own behavior. It's called accountability. That's love. No more excuses. Woo! That was a lot of energy. Woo! Woo! Thank you for your time. Thank you for your time. I love you so much. I love you so much. Sometimes I have to say the tough stuff because I choose to say the tough stuff. I take responsibility for what I say, right? If it's not loving, I'll apologize, right? If it's not true, I'll apologize. I have the courage to say, I'm sorry. That's taking responsibility for my own actions and behavior. I have the courage to say, I'm wrong. I have the courage to say, I didn't do that. I didn't go after that. Not because someone was blocking me. Because deep down, even though I don't want to admit it, I was afraid. So I didn't do it. But I had to make them an excuse as to why, to make myself feel better. And I'm gentle with myself. I'm gentle with myself because that's taking responsibility for the responsibility for my own ignorance, responsibility for not being able to see all of my unconsciousness, responsibility for not accepting that I don't know everything. Not even the half of the half of the half of anything. No excuses. No excuses. Who loves you? I sure enough love you. Thank you. Namaste. Namaste.